Everyone. Welcome back to this Clarity Week. And this is an ad hoc video. Like I just literally just got off a call with the team, and I wanted to just come here and talk a little bit about why buyers buy. Like I had a material that I was going to present about KPIs because that's what we're talking about this entire week for Clarity Week. But I came across this information, and then I saw a post that I said that I was going to talk about because it's very, very relevant to why buyers buy. So, my name is Leah. I am a coach and advisor to top tier AEs and sales teams who are frustrated with lower win rates, varying quota attainment, and they just want some more predictability. They want to hit their quota faster. We want more predictable revenue. So those are the problems that I solve. So the other day I was looking at and I'm looking down at my phone, so excuse me, but I was looking at a post by a doctor who obviously is approached by a lot of medical device salespeople, and his name is Mark Froimson. Mark Froimson, MD, MBA. And he posted a post that I thought was really, really relevant. And we can gain a lot of insights from as sellers, but also as sales leaders. So he's saying that, and I'm going to read it. I have my phone here. He's saying, pro tip for medical sales from a surgeon. Don't tell me as a surgeon that your product is better than what I'm currently using. Don't tell me that my current choice of product is not state of the art. In fact, don't point out what's wrong with what I'm using or doing. And here's the key point. If I've used a product or technique on the last 100 or 1,000 patients, it creates cognitive dissonance to hear you say what sounds like that I don't think I give them the best care. Respect that it's consistent for me to want to embrace innovation, but also to want to embrace innovation, but to also be resistant to converting from my current successful approach. Instead, simply invite me to assess your new innovative device and consider how I could envision delivering that same excellent care with the new features you are offering. What do I like about it and what could be improved? Ask me if it's solving a real problem I face each day. Ask me if that problem is important enough and whether I believe that problem is worth solving. Then ask me if I think you hit the mark in solving it and would I consider it as an option. Don't ask me to replace what I have. Ask me whether it's a viable option, etc. Okay, so this is really advanced sales 101, right? And this is something that I see a lot and something that we talk about a lot. When a buyer, either we're approaching them cold or a buyer connects with us and says, hey, I want to change from what I'm currently using. Okay. A lot of times what happens is sellers, we get happy ears and we get so excited and we assume that that means that they're ready to buy. Okay. But what we fail to realize is, and we fail to take into account, is all the other things that are happening in the background in the buyer's mind. So they may see your product, solution, or service and be like, okay, that looks like a viable option. I'm spending X amount of dollars on this other product that I've been using for a while. Let me see what they have and let me see what, it entails. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they are ready to change right this second, because as you can see from this post, they have been using this product for X amount of time, right? Even if it's only 6 months. And in a lot of cases, we're bringing them a new product or a similar product with different features and benefits and blah, blah, blah. And we're asking them to switch from something that they've used 6 months to a year, or maybe even longer. Okay. There is a such thing in sales or in human psychology. It's called longevity bias. There's a very such thing. So this means that even if the product is superior, like you might know that your product, solution, or service is superior, they may even know that because you've told them that, you've showed them the features, et cetera, et cetera. But unless we can actually give them a compelling reason, And unless we can bring them over to our side and give them a more of an emotional reason to even look at it or even really consider it seriously, and we tie it to an actual business problem, hence is what he's saying, then the answer is going to be no. I'm sorry, that's just the way it works. We're fighting against human psychology. We're fighting against something that's been in place for a year, maybe more, even if it's only 6 months. The longevity bias comes into play because when you think about it, what is sales at its very core? Okay. Sales at its core is change, right? And we're asking our buyer to change. And not only we're just asking our buyer to change from something that they can predict the outcome, they can predict what's happening in their organization. They don't want to kind of upset the apple cart. We're asking them to change to something that's probably working, even if it's not optimal, to a new, untested, unpredictable product that's going to give them results that who knows if it's going to work out. What if they implement it and it turns out to be not the right decision? What about the implementation? There's so many other considerations, right? So again, buyers buy because of predictability. If they can predict what's going to happen, rightly or good, bad, or indifferent, then that's the product they're going to stick with. So what this gentleman is saying, what this doctor is saying, is that, hey, I've been using this surgical tool for X amount of years, and I've had really great results with 1,000 patients. And you're bringing a new product to me, and you're telling me that this product is better than what I've been using, but I can't predict those results from your product. What if I buy the product and it's not what it says it does? It doesn't do what it says it does, or I get negative results. What's going to happen, right? So this demonstrates this concept, right? This is exactly what he's saying. I'm going to tag him, and I encourage you to read this post if you're an AE specifically, but if you're a sales leader also, because we need to have the proper messaging and we have to have the proper technique when we're approaching clients or potential buyers to buy our thing or try our new thing, right? We have to give them a compelling reason. It's not enough to just say ours is better, ours has this new feature, blah, blah, blah. Buyers are all featured out. They become desensitized to us saying this is better, this gives more efficiency, et cetera, et cetera. They've heard this stuff ad nauseum. And furthermore, they've probably been burned a couple of times by having products that didn't do what they said they did. So our job when we're trying to sell a new thing or trying to demonstrate a new thing or have them try something is really dig into what their experience is, what they would like to see. Is it optimal? Can we help improve some things and have that conversation versus saying, hey, here's our new thing. It's better because of A, B, C, and D. Right. And again, the other day we talked about how most buying decisions to the tune of 85% are based on emotion. And that's exactly what he's saying here. Okay. And if you missed that live, I'm going to drop the link below so you can listen to it. And that's proven by science. It's not a made up number. It's true. Right. And so if we're missing that emotional piece and we're missing that emotional connection, but also we fail to take into account that whatever they've been using is predictable in their mind, and that's why they're staying with what they have, then we're going to lose the sale, and we're probably going to annoy them by doing this. So our approach should not be to say, hey, buy my thing because it's better. Like, what? Like, we can't approach it like that. We have to approach it in a consultative way, have the conversation around it, really understand what their feelings are around what they're using, how their outcomes can be improved. And then we need to demonstrate that our product, solution, or service is predictable. And how can we do that? Through statistics and through messaging, but also through testimonials of people like him, surgeons, MDs, who have probably switched to our product, solution, or service that have gotten really great results and are really happy. That's how we approach it. And that's how we start breaking the walls down so that they're open to at least trying it or at least looking at it, right? And in something as delicate as surgery, of course they're going to want to stay with what they know. because they know they can get great outcomes and people's lives are probably on the line, right? People's lives, people's health, or so forth. Okay, he goes on to say, ask me whether it's a viable option, so what you have, and what I would like to see added or changed. Ask me in which cases or circumstances new device might find a role, etc. All what he's talking about is buying based on predictability, but also selling in a consultative manner. And I know we always hear this consultative sales thrown around, but nobody really understands what that means. And far fewer are applying it. If I had to guess, it would be only 7%, 7 to 10% of sellers are actually doing it because we're in such a hurry to get the quantity and we're in such a hurry to demonstrate our product, solution, or service and to sell the thing that we're not considering uh, what is in the buyer's mind and what all they have to go through in the background. And that's a whole nother conversation. But that's why I decided to come on this live today, because I just got off a call where we were talking about buyers buy based on predictability and how we can determine that, how can we demonstrate that, and how can we have respect for that when we're talking to potential buyers, or we in the sales process with someone. Okay, so he's also saying change by design doesn't come easily in medical practice. Let that part sink in. And I have never sold medical devices. Never. In fact, I have very little exposure to uh, medical devices. And here's what I want you guys to know. Okay. So it's great to understand the industry. It is. But he's saying that, and this is a very, very great demonstration. He's saying that he has experienced sellers of medical devices approaching him in this way, which rubs him the wrong way, and he's just not, he doesn't want to deal with it. Okay, so just because you have experience in an industry doesn't mean that you're effective as a seller. And it doesn't mean if you're a sales leader or a CEO, CRO, whatever, it doesn't mean that just because you hire someone who has 10, 15, 20 years of experience in your industry, it doesn't mean that they're going to be effective as a seller. You could bring someone new in, like me. As I said, I don't have any experience with medical devices, but when I read his post, I said, this is a great post. Thanks for sharing. I'm going to quote you, because this is exactly what we talk about all the time. Is consultative sales is what's really important. The industry knowledge is important, but it's kind of secondary, right? And it's possible through training, coaching, and developing systems and processes to marry the two. So if you are, as a sales leader, if you're turning down people, candidates based on lack of industry experience, you're probably shooting yourself in the foot. And if you're an AE and you're thinking, I cannot sell into this particular industry because I don't have the industry experience, you have your blinders on. Okay. What matters is the process and the approach. And then when you marry that with the understanding of the industry and what's required, then you have magic that happens. Right. So he's saying that change doesn't come easily in medical practice. It doesn't come easily in medical practice, and it doesn't come easy in business either. Because if it did, then more of us would have awesome results. But the point is, like we've been talking, is that, sales is change management. And unless we help our buyers get over the hump with the change and understand that buyers buy based on what they can predict, and we adjust our approach and our processes and our systems accordingly, we are going to continue to see posts like this. And I think he posted over a couple of different days, right? About this, I believe it's about the same topic, but this was a post that really caught my eye, because when I talk to sales leaders, when I talk to account executives, this is like their main psychological barrier. I don't have the industry experience, or sales leader says this person doesn't have industry experience, or we're looking for a candidate that has 5 years of medical device experience, right? I've seen those posts like over and over again, but that doesn't guarantee success. There's a whole suite of things. There's 21 core competencies that guarantees sales success by 95%. Okay, and we can talk about that on another live. But I really, really encourage you to drop this barrier in your mind about, as AEs, you need to have a specific experience in this industry to be successful. Or as a sales leader, you need someone with 5, 10, 15, 20 years of experience, because that doesn't equal success, and it doesn't equal really connecting with your buyer. It's your systems, your processes, and your messaging, and how you go about everything that guarantees success, not industry experience. I'm sorry, it just doesn't work like that. So I really like, again, this was a ad hoc live, so I apologize if I'm rambling, but this post right here, it is indicative of what we always see and what we always talk about. Buyers buy based on predictability. Buyers have a longevity bias. It's inherent in human psychology. It's inherent in all of us. So it's not their fault. It's just how the human brain works and how human psychology works. We're going to err on the side of what we already know. It's kind of like the devil you know, right? You're going to stick with that instead of potentially bringing in something else and it just not working out. But also the other part of that is that we're talking about change management and sales being change management. We're not talking about just switching to another thing. We need to think about all the other things that the buyer is thinking about and what they have to go through in order to overcome that barrier to change, right? So things like, if I buy this, what's going to happen to me personally, to my reputation? Is it going to work out? How many people do I have to train on this? Who do I have to get buy-in from on this? Are there people in the organization that are going to be resistant to this? Right? How long is implementation going to take? Am I going to get the ROI? All these things that we don't think about. We are simply pitching our stuff and telling a buyer, this is better than what you're using. That doesn't connect, right? So we don't have the emotional piece, and we're not connecting it to their problem environment or the environment that they're operating in, that they're working in, right? So I'm going to post, I'm going to tag this gentleman on this live, and I encourage all of you to take a look at that post. I mean, if this doesn't get you to think about your process and how you go about things and what you're doing from day to day, and how you're actually connecting with the buyer and what message you're sending when you do, I don't know what will, honestly. So that's what this live is about. Buyers buy based on predictability. There's a such thing as longevity bias, so it's the devil you know. And sales is all about change management. We need to be able to overcome all of those things, and the only way we can do that is through a consultative sales process. And your systems have to align with that, right? So this is something that I help buyers with. Sorry, this is something that I help sellers with. I help sales teams with. So if you want help with this, please send me a DM. We can talk about one-to-one coaching, or we can talk about coaching your team and fixing your systems, or massaging your systems so they work better in a consultative way. Okay. So thank you for bearing with me through this live. Again, it's very ad hoc. It was I just need to talk about this now. I don't know what I'm going to say, but I'm just going to do it. So thank you for bearing with me. Tomorrow, we'll get back into KPIs, and we're going to look at another specific KPI. I'll drop the link to yesterday's live below, and I will see you then. Talk to you soon. Happy selling. Bye.